mentioned that you were going to Binkerton. I told you several weeks ago that I was going, the rabbi remarked. Oh, I knew you were going to hold Sabbath services for some Hillel group, but I didn't realize you were going to Mass State at Binkerton. It just goes to show you what a small world it is. My steward is there. Oh, really? I didn't know that. Look, I thought maybe you'd say hello for us but of course, Mr. Gorfinkel. I'm sure he'll come to your service, but just in case he gets tied up, maybe if you took his phone number. Of course. Just a minute, let me get a piece of paper. He jotted down the number. It's a dormitory, so if he's not there, you can leave a message. I understand. If you call him when you get in, maybe he could show you around the campus. That's an idea. He was aware of a voice in the background, and Gorfinkel said, Just a minute, Rabbi. Then, after an interval of muffled sounds through the covered receiver, Of course he may have a class in the afternoon or have some studying to do. The rabbi smiled to himself. Mrs. Gorfinkel must have pointed out that their son might not like the idea of being saddled with the rabbi and his family for the afternoon. That's all right. We'll probably be pretty tired after our trip and we'll want to rest up. Well, it's a thought anyway. When are you coming back, Rabbi? Saturday night, right after Havdalah. Really? Gorfinkel sounded surprised. I thought Stuart said... He sounded his hearty self again. Well, anyway, it just occurred to me... Yes? The rabbi felt sure that he was now to hear the real reason for the call. If you've got room in your car, if it's not crowding you or inconveniencing you in any way, you see, Stuart will be coming home for Passover, and they've got a week's vacation. That I could give him a lift back? Only if it wouldn't be any trouble to you. I'd be very happy to, Mr. Gorfinkel. He had no sooner hung up when there was a rap on the door, and without waiting to be invited, in came Morton Brooks, the principal of the religious school. He was a bouncy, youngish man of 40 with a kind of theatrical flamboyance about him. Thank God I caught you before you left. When I got the call, I came right over. What happened? Arlene Feldberg broke out with measles. The doctor was over last night, but Mrs. Feldberg didn't think to notify me until this morning. He sounded betrayed. Arlene Feldberg? Brooks nervously fingered the long strands of hair that he had carefully combed to cover an incipient bald spot. You know Arlene Feldberg, the little girl from the first grade who's supposed to say the 4 questions in English at the Seder. Oh, Harry Feldberg's child. Well, that's all right. The rabbi was considerably relieved. For a moment he had thought the principal was concerned about a possible epidemic. The Haggadahs we're using have the English translation on the opposite page. Or, I suppose, the little boy, what's his name? Jeffrey Blumenthal. I'm sure Jeffrey can give the translation after he reads it in the Hebrew. Impossible, Rabbi. You mean he doesn't know what the Hebrew means? Of course he knows, said Brooks indignantly. But there's a big difference between reading and being able to recite it without adequate rehearsal. But even if there were time to coach him properly, it's still impossible. In fact, it would be adding insult to injury to let him have both parts. The Feldbergs would never forgive me, and they'd talk about it to their friends, and they include the Paths and the Edelsteins. I assure you, Rabbi, we'd never hear the end of it. I see. And Jeffrey is a... Blumenthal, of course. Friends of the Gorfinkels, the Epsteins, and the Brennemans. They're cousins of the Brennemans, in fact. Oh, come on, Morton. Isn't that rather silly? Not at all, said the principal gravely. Believe me, Rabbi, this is my 3rd school, and I know how these things work. If you don't mind my saying so, I think you would be wise to pay a little more attention to the politics in the congregation. Oh, you attend the board meetings regularly, but the important developments take place in the school. That's where it really shows up. In the religious school? The rabbi made no attempt to hide his amusement. Of course! The high holidays are once a year, and the lesser holidays, if they fall during the middle of the week, we don't get more than 75 attending services, like on Friday nights. But the school, the kids go 3 times a week, and they report anything that happens the minute they get home. You know how we Jews feel about our kids. Any little slight or fancied unfairness, you'd think from the way the parents carry on it was a pogrom. The rabbi smiled. So, what do you want to do?